Last but not least, sticking with Starbucks at 99.20. Let's focus on our 77 day out expiration, because we just saw how the time value would work in our favor, how the weeklies can result in a high profit. Absolutely. Lowest cost, stock does the move we want in the first 2 or 3 days, we're going to see the highest percentage return. But if it doesn't, we might be near a 70, 80, 90% loss, have to buy the next week out to try to catch it. And if it doesn't happen till later that week, we might not be seeing what we want. In the signature tools and also under our long put and long call tabs, we have a tool called the long option finder. Again, using the theoretical calculation, it is theoretical, but it gives us a gauge of which option is going to give us the best bang for the buck if the stock hits our target price on our target date. This is important because of the question of, should I be buying puts right now? We focused on the at the money option. I did that for an example. But in theory, the at the money option always has the highest time value. You're paying into the highest time value. On those chains we looked at, even though the in the money puts, the 100, 105, and so forth, had a much higher cost, most of that would have been intrinsic value. The ATM bell curve shows us that the highest time premium on any option on any expiration date occurs right at the strike price. I use the 99 as an example, but very infrequently would I be buying the at the money put because it has the highest time premium. It was the best way for me to illustrate for you what decay is to expected, the difference between 1 week out, 3 weeks out, and then 3 times the 3 week out. But that being said, the at the money option may be the most profitable if your expectation of the movement in the security is mild. If you're only expecting to see a decline of, say, 5 or 7%, the at the money is probably going to be the most profitable. If you expect a decline of 10, 15, or 20%, the out of the money is naturally going to be the most profitable. The cheaper one is it exceeds that price, rockets through it, and you have more intrinsic value. And if you expect a subtle move of just 3, 4% maybe, or maybe even a little bit less, but if I only expected to move down of 2 or 3%, I'm probably trading an out of the money spread position, a bear call credit or a bear put debit, as opposed to buying a put. But that would show you that the in the money is likely the only profitable example. Let's use our Starbucks, because it's right around 100. And let's say that in the next, this is not any kind of premonition, any kind of crystal ball, any recommendation or trading suggestion. But let's say we see that 5% move. Well, stock's at about 100, so 5%, easy enough. We see a 5-point drop. It goes down to $94. And we're expecting it to happen, I don't know, let's say in the next 2 weeks, the standard options expiration of December on the 15th. And I'm going to go ahead and we saw prices of $4, $3, $5. So let's just go ahead and put $1,000 into this. Okay, that's my expectation. 5% decline in Starbucks, not a real, for the example. I'm not saying this is going to happen. On or around December 15th, 5% decline. Let me erase the drawings there. Let's submit this. What this tool did in that brief instant is went out and grabbed every available option for Starbucks. Grabbed the current price of the option and the implied volatility and calculated what the option would theoretically be worth if the stock hit our target of $94 on or around the 15th of December. And the most profitable one, now I'm going to change that in a second, but the most profitable one that came up is the 96 put. Slightly out of the money, only by about 2.5%, 3%. Cost of 54 cents, and if the stock dropped down to 94 on the 15th, a theoretical value of 219. Return of 306%. It arranged the results from highest return to lowest. So you see here in this movement, this 5%, with this low volatility, all these options would be profitable. But this one shows you which strike would be the best. Why isn't the 95 put for the same expiration more profitable? It's cheaper. It's only 39 cents instead of 54. Because the theoretical value is only $1.50. Is that accurate? Yeah. Stock trading at 94, 1 week on 12/15, 1 week to expiration. The 96 put is 2 points in the money, would have about 19, 20 cents of time value. And the cost was only 54, return of 306. Cheaper price, 95 put, only cost 39 cents, but it's only going to be worth $1.50. Makes sense. Stock's at 94, 95 put with 1 week to go, $1 of intrinsic value. It's closer to at the money. So what does it have? A higher time premium than the 96 following the ATM bell curve. The 95 is roughly here. 96 is roughly here. So you see 19 cents a time premium here, 50 cents a time premium here, but the return percentage is only 285 versus 306 for that 96 strike. That assumes volatility remains the same. It's at the lower volatility as we mentioned, but they're all relative, 0.18, 0.182, 0.1878 as well. Now, why am I not seeing the 15th? And that was my doing. If I put this at the 14th, this is going to be dominated by the closer December 15th. You know, it's based on the expectations. It's a computer, so it says, hey, it doesn't fall till the 15th. Well, the 15th would have already expired. We go to the 14th. There's your 15th. Notice the highest return now. Each one closer to at the money with only a 5% movement. We're looking at the 97 strike at a cost of 55 cents for December 15th expiration with a return of 444%. Deeper out of the money, cheaper cost, only 37 cents. Same 14-day out expiration on the 96. Percentage return of only 438. The 95 put, half the cost at 26 cents. But again, only return of 312 compared to 444. This is with that 5% decline. You're seeing more at the money, closer to at the money, slightly out of the money positions, not the 91, not the 93, not the 94. Even going further out in time, that's when you start to see the 94 out to December. Hey, still a good return, right? Still a good return in that case. But you don't start to see these further out of the money options. Why? Because they wouldn't be profitable yet. If the stock was trading right at 94, the December 15th 94 put would be at zero. Whatever you paid for it, you'd be at 100% loss. It has no value. The 22nd 1 week remaining starts to creep in with the 95s and the 94s because they're still going to have time premium left. Whereas that closest to expiration, 1 day remaining to expiration, even though the stock dropped to 94, the 94 strike would just be worth 1 cent or zero. That's a lot of assumptions to make. It is a computer and a calculation, but it gives you the gauge. Well, that's the gauge of 5%. What about 10%? We're at 99.20. We drop 9.90. Let's say we go down to 89. What do we expect to see here? Same date, 12/14. We expect a 10% drop, continued decline in Starbucks. We see it go down to $89, $89.50, somewhere in that range. Which put options are going to give us the most profit? I bet you it's going to be the lower strikes, isn't it? Absolutely. Now we see the 93s, 94s, 92s, because they are cheaper and the stock price exceeded that lower return. I mean, you're seeing massive returns in this case with a 10% decline. Again, I'm not saying Starbucks is going to decline 10%. I'm not saying I'm seeing something in the MACD or the Bollinger Band that's leading me to believe Starbucks could decline another 10% down to $90 or $89 in the next 13, 14, or 15 days. But this is the tool to help you gauge what is best, in the money, at the money, or out of the money. And typically what we see with about, let's say, a 4 to 6, 4 to 7% decline, 1 or 2 strikes out of the money or at the money is going to give you the best return, depending, of course, on the volatility. 7, 8, 9, 10% decline, you're going to start seeing those further out of the money strikes, those lower strikes, the 92s, 93s, 91s. And I finally expected a 3 or 4% decline. Then in the next 13 or 14 days, Starbucks just drops from 99, let's say, down to 96 or 96.50. Which options are going to give me the best profit? It's probably going to be slightly in the money. 99, 100, 101. The out of the money puts, that 97 strike, 96 strike, they're not profitable because the stock didn't fall enough. You know, that 96, I think we saw it was 42, it was 39 cents or so. So if the stock fell to 96.50, Well, it'd only be worth 50 cents. You'd only make 11% profit. But the in the money option, sure, the 99, the at the money actually, the highest time premium is at 120. But if it falls to 96.50, that's going to be worth 250. Is that a good theoretical price? Absolutely. In this case, it's right at intrinsic value. Stock at 96.50, the 99 strike would be worth 250. That's 108% return based on the current price, current ask price of 120. 100 put 169 would go up to 349. Right at intrinsic value, that's a good price to expect if the stock is trading at 96.50 Hondo. And there's your 107% return. Subtle movements. Let's just say 2 to 5%. And usually if you're buying puts, you're expecting more movement than that, honestly. But let's just call it 2 to 4%. 5 is a bit extreme, but 2 to 4%, you're going to be at to slightly in the money. Those are the best strikes to use. And the long option finder tool is going to illustrate that for you. Around 5 to 8, let's just call it 5 to 7%. Really, I want to call it about 4 to 7%. But in a range of 4 to 7%, you're going to be looking at this slightly OTM to at the money strikes. Those are going to give you the best return, best bang for your buck. And again, the long option finder just backed us up. Around 7.5% move or higher, you're going to be seeing OTM options basically only. Sure, the at the monies would still give a good return. The in the monies would still give a good return. But the best bang for the buck is going to be the out of the money. Let's just say 7.5 to 10. And then if you're expecting some massive decline of 15 to 20%, in that case, you're going to be going further out of the money. But really, at this point, the sky's the limit. All of these, as we showed, are going to be profitable. But that's what you want to look for. That's what we see with these tools based on the ATM bell curve. What we would like to call the time decay curve, knowing that the option that's 3 months out in time is not 3 times the cost of the closest month, 30 days out with the same expiration date. And the 1 week out option, although the cheapest, is the highest cost per day and has the most rapid time value if you don't start time value decay, Hondo, if you don't start to see the stock movement that you wanted in those first few days. Strike price depends on your expectation of the decline. And yes, if you're in this range, 7.5 to 10%, 15 to 20%, all the put options are going to be profitable.